Howdy, y'all. This is Proverbs 6 in the RSV for December 6, 2023. My son, if you've become surety for your neighbor, have given your pledge for a stranger, if you're snared in the utterance of your lips, caught in the words of your mouth, then do this, my son, and save yourself, for you've come into your neighbor's power. Go, hasten, and importune your neighbor. Give your eyes no sleep, and your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like a gazelle from the hunter, like a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her food in the summer, and gathers her sustenance in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a vagabond, and want like an armed man. A worthless person, a wicked man, goes about with crooked speech, winks his eyes, scrapes with his feet, points with his finger, with perverted heart devises evil, continually sowing discord. Therefore calamity will come upon him suddenly. In a moment he will be broken beyond healing. There are 6 things which the Lord hates, 7 which are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, and a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and a man who sows discord among his brothers. My son, keep your father's commandment, and forsake not your mother's teaching. Bind them upon your heart always, tie them about your neck. When you walk, they will lead you. When you lie down, they will watch over you, and when you awake, they will talk with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching a light, and the reproofs of discipline are a way of life, to preserve you from the evil woman, from the smooth tongue of the adventuress. Do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes. For a harlot may be hired for a loaf of bread, but an adulteress stalks a man's very life. Can a man carry fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Or can one walk upon hot coals and his feet not be scorched? So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife. None who touches her will go unpunished. Do not men despise the thief if he steals to satisfy his appetite when he's hungry? And if he's caught, he will pay 7-fold. He will give all the goods of his house. He who commits adultery has no sense. He who does it destroys himself. Wounds and dishonor will he get, and his disgrace will not be wiped away. For jealousy makes a man furious, and he will not spare when he takes his revenge. He will accept no compensation, nor be appeased though you multiply gifts. I guess we'll just have to stitch them together. Not my favorite. So sorry for the smash cut with the weird lighting, but this is what I got right now. I suppose I can pull off into a parking lot, but every time I seem to do that, I get interrupted this afternoon, actually. We can get ourselves in a bad agreement, right? And we can get out of that. The whole first half is like, don't put up security, don't co-sign your friend's nonsense, right? If it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea. If it's a bad business idea, don't do it. Don't do it. And if you did do it, get out of it. Go right down to your friend and get out of the situation, right? Conversely, we talked through the middle about the adulterous woman and having an adulterous relationship. Well, as transactional as that could be, let's put it that way, it is not qualitatively the same thing. You can't undo it. You can't get out of it. You can't repay it, right? So bad business agreement, tear up the contract. Bad cosign, here's the deposit or whatever, here's what I'm on the hook for. Let's go separate ways. Bad relationship, okay, we can part ways. But a bad sexual relationship, especially an adulterous one, specifically it's talking about with a woman that has a husband, there's no like, my bad, bro, and there's no like, hey, right? How much is a man's peace of mind worth in this case? How much? It's like, if a woman, this is what I mean by transactional, just like it says that the price price of a woman, being with a woman in that way, like a prostitute, can be for a loaf of bread, a small amount of money. But when you do that with someone else's wife or spouse, I mean, there's no repay in that. So even if it was quid pro quo or transactional with that person, their spouse is going to take offense to that, and you can't just like, what price is that, right? You can't untoast the toast, as PBS cartoon Rough Ruffman sings, right? You can't undo what's done. And in this one, it's more of a grave danger than others, because you're incurring the just wrath of a person, and they're not going to be satisfied, right? He will accept no compensation, nor be appeased though you multiply gifts. He will not spare when he takes his revenge, right? So it's qualitatively different than a bad agreement or even stealing, because you can be caught, you can pay back what you owe, you can pay back sevenfold in this case, because justice, right? But you can't untoast the toast for that one. So Solomon, which, I mean, this is a guy with what? I don't know how many hundred wives and concubines. So I don't want to say take with a grain of salt, but at the same time, it's just like, huh. So he had a whole lot of ladies, and this is still what he's telling us. Now in this case, I mean, it's a little bit different than the king having a court. Sorry, bumpy road. I realize if my voice is shaking, the camera's got to be going crazy. But in any case, it's a grave warning. Meanwhile, the whole middle of this chapter is about like meditating on the word, writing it on your heart, binding it around your neck. Why? Because where is it now? Sorry, gotta pay attention to the driving. When you walk, they will lead you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will talk with you. I've said it before, I think that's, you know what, I am going to pull over because I got a trailer full of I don't know what in front of me. And I don't feel like having my nice little windshield all cracked and broken. So, let's pull over. Finish our little chit chat, shall we? Better, hopefully. Sorry if that was terrible quality. But when you lie down, they will watch over you. I think that's cool. In other chapters, it talks about like the wicked are fleeing when no one pursues, anxiety, fear. But the righteous, you know, sleep sweet. That's another one. What do you got to worry about? Do you even have enemies, right? If you're doing the right thing, you'll always have enemies, especially the more vocal you are for Jesus. You will collect enemies, for certain. But what do we have to worry about? And the Lord watches over us. And the Word teaches us that. And all this wisdom, right? It's a lamp and a teaching, and the teaching is a light to preserve you from, for instance, the evil woman. We're going to take a lot of heat in this chapter, man. There's several chapters, but like I said, this man talking to a son. And there are ladies, like we said earlier, that are not of the same conscience and will use the attention they have and use up the people around them. So we got to warn our kiddos, and we got to train our women to be good women and to not act like that. You've got the ant in this chapter. So I think that's the best admonishment. Looking at the ruthless precision and efficiency of nature. It is a beautiful, wonderful system set up around us. And if we just observe what is around us, we can ascertain our own patterns that we should be following. Get up every day, do the work, be consistent. Right now, I'm listening to I can't think of the first word now. It's a book on hospitality. And basically,